Welcome to the podcast where our reading habits are unhinged.
And so are we.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Miranda.
And this is Marginally Unwell.
We should really have a theme song.
I know. How many episodes do you think we've said that in? And we still don't have one.
Because after every time I just I do a little hum or tune. I don't know. I feel like it goes. Anyway,
Today, obviously, we have a bit of difference in scenery. We had to make some adjustments. But we'll be back. Today, we are discussing The Midnight Library. A book that asks, what if every bad decision you ever made had its own alternate universe? We've got regret, parallel lives, and a library with zero late fees, but maximum emotional damage. So grab your metaphorical library card and prepare to spiral. Philosophically, of course.
when I would have a library card, I would forget to return them all the time.
Are you? I don't think I've... No.
You've never had a late fee on a book?
I think when I was in, elementary school, there might have been a book that didn't get, returned.
Yeah, I'd forget about them all the time. I'd finish it, and I'd put it down, and then I'd go get another, and then they just stack up, and I couldn't remember what order I checked them out, and so eventually just take them all back, and then have to pay, $5 in late fees.
That's crazy.
To my local library.
That's wild. I don't even know what our late fees are.
I don't know what they are now, but back then, I remember paying, $5. I think my most expensive was, $12.
That's wild. That makes me think of, there's an episode of, I think it's Young Sheldon, and he's, freaking out about not returning the book on time, because then he's like, somebody won't get to read this. If he doesn't return it. They could be waiting to read it.
I never thought about it. I never thought about it like that.
I'm really in my own little world.
I was, man. I was just the next one. Oh, the next one. And I'd go, once a week, or at least once a week at that time.
I think the book he had to was, something that it was, so obscure. So it made it kind of funny. The premise behind it. It's
I know. It's cute.
They're not going to get to read it now.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't think about that at all.
Yeah, the person that was waiting on, Libya Reads or something. Is Larry.
Wait, you don't return, digital ones?
I've never done a digital one. I stopped using the library, a long time ago.
Oh, but I thought you were saying on Libby.
I was just being facetious, but whatever the equivalent of physical, if they're waiting for a book and they're on the list and
yeah, I was saying that because you could just let the timer run out and then it automatically returns it, or you can if you're finished with it after a week or whatever, then you can just go ahead and return it so the next person in line can get it.
Oh,
so that's why I thought you were saying no, you just let it run out. And I was like, hey, you make it gold.
If I was using that, yes, I would wait the whole week because I'd probably forget about it.
That's crazy. Do better to your fellow
I don't
readers.
use it
In this metaphorical instance.
Right.
Be better in the hypothetical, okay?
Do my best. Anyway,
so that is completely off topic of what we're talking about. So let's get into the Midnight Library.
It's a metaphorical library.
What were your expectations going into this book, and do you feel like they were met?
Honestly, I didn't even know what it was about. I thought it was, just reading the title, I thought that some person got locked in the library overnight.
What a dream.
So, that's kind of what I went into it. I didn't even read, the death jacket or anything. It was, or the synopsis of the book. Just because we drew it, we picked it up. I think this was yours. This was yours.
Yes, because it kept getting submitted for an option for our book club.
Oh,
and
then
so
I did read it.
I was going to say, because I kept
to have read
seeing the thing, and so I was like, oh, I do really want to read it.
I didn't remember that. I forgot about that.
I'm shocked.
So I went into it blind. But it sounded good. The title sounded good. The cover was cute.
It is cute.
Yeah. So I didn't have any expectations, so it just kind of open.
Gotcha.
What about you?
I didn't think that it was going to be so in depth with like the specific things in her life. I thought these were just like alternate lives, not like, there were parts in it where she was like, show me a life where like this specific thing didn't happen.
Oh yeah.
And so that was going to be a little bit more like that. And I thought it was going to be more of a different take on this style. Like we've seen this kind of story played out in a bunch of different ways, books, movies, whatever. I thought this was going to be more of a different take than it was. And I didn't think it was also going to be, like I said, as like pinpointed for the different lives. But
yeah, as I was reading it and I was like unfolding, I don't know. I was thinking like two movies like mashed together. Like what's the book called? Or the movie I was telling you about with the little books and he's in the library and they're like cartoons.
Page Master.
The Page Master. I was thinking of the Page Master and the Butterfly Effect.
Those are wildly different movies.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's what I associated this book with.
That's crazy. Okay.
Because it was very specific. Like in the Butterfly Effect, he would change like a
What?
very specific
Yeah,
instance,
I mean,
and then
that's
like his
true.
whole future changed.
Yeah.
And the Page Master, he got to go into different kind of books, and that's what she was doing. So I was like,
Interesting. So, I mean, I do think it didn't like. I had a real. What am I trying to say? Different expectations than like I meant maybe should have. It wasn't like it was portrayed the way that I was taking it to be going into it. So, like, in a way, I do feel like it was met because it said that. I was just thinking it was going to be more than that.
okay,
So, I don't know.
it didn't meet your expectation.
It's not that it didn't meet my expectations. It was just,
You thought it was gonna be better than your expectations?
no, that's what I'm trying to say is like, it was more just different, not like better or worse.
Okay,
If that
equal
makes-
footing.
Yeah.
Okay,
And so,
makes sense.
yeah. Okay. How would I explain that for him?
Next question. How did the opening characters make you feel about Nora's mindset?
Both his chapters, but.
I'm a little dyslexic.
I don't think that.
It is.
Okay.
Or whatever it is.
We are killing this episode right now. Okay, so the chapters, the early chapters.
The opening How did the opening chapter make you feel about Nora's mindset? There you go.
Wait, what? Oh, it was fine. It was kind of like.
Wait, so Gary.
Okay, the opening chapters. Her mindset, I don't know. I felt like she was a little bit. It was a little bit drama.
Like, a little depressing.
I mean, she definitely was, and I just don't know, like, the reasons she was depressed, which I guess I shouldn't say that. You feel how you feel. But I was like, girl, it's not that serious. It's okay.
What led you up to it being this serious?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah. I don't think there is enough context. Like, yes, she was written as, like, sad and, like, emotional, depressed, whatever. I don't know. I feel like other books I've read or other, like, movies or whatever where they, like, depict depression, and I feel like it's written a little bit better. The way you get a little bit more context to the character's mindset versus, woe is me.
it seemed a little more like she was just, like, upset at her life. Just, like, I don't want to say, like, the victim of everything, but she was kind of just, like, complaining about every little tiny thing.
Yeah.
And,
Victim mentality.
yeah. And I'm not saying, like, she didn't, like, none of the sadness was valid, but it was just a little bit, like, complaining versus being, like, really depressed about, like, a situation or something. Or, I don't know. She was obviously depressed and sad, but I didn't really love, I guess, what you said.
Any
How it was
context.
written. Did the concept of the Midnight Library hook you right away?
But yeah, I thought it was really cute. Like jumping into a book and like actually living as a character versus reading as a character. You know what I mean? I thought it was really neat. It did make me like realize some of these books that I really, really like probably don't actually want to live it. I don't know about you, but
I mean, all of them were related to choices in her life, though. It wasn't like it was like, oh, let me go into this completely fantasy world.
well, yeah, but she was talking about going into like a book about her doing like research in like the North Pole or something, somewhere in Arctic.
Yeah, that was from like a whole thing in her childhood where she, like, yeah, she decided like not to pursue that. Same with like
So,
the,
like, if she
the Olympic
did.
swimming thing.
Yeah.
Because she was like doing that and then she, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
So it wasn't like just this, it wasn't like, oh, let me just step into Lord of the Rings or something.
That'd be amazing.
Oh yeah, you're gonna walk to Mortimer?
I didn't say I was going to take that journey. Like, I could just stay at the Hobbit Hole and enjoy the fireworks. I got choices.
And apparently, it's not to save anyone.
I'm going to live in my ignorant bliss. Anyway,
That's funny.
what about you?
Yeah, I obviously, again, as a reader, I like the concept of the Midnight Library, but even more than that, I did find it really interesting later in the book whenever she found somebody else like go into a similar situation and they didn't have a
Yeah.
library. And so
Yeah,
it was
that
like
was like
tailored
a-
to the person.
What did he have?
It was a
like
movie
video
store.
rental.
Yeah,
Like a block goes.
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And so it was because like that was a memory or kind of like a safe space for them personally, and so that's how she ended up at the library and was the librarian when she was little.
You know, Miss Sunshine.
You know, Mrs.
Oh,
That was her like
her person.
her librarian. That
How would you describe Nora at the beginning versus the end of the book?
I mean, in the beginning she was real sad.
Sad fact.
But it was a lot of like I said, I mean, just like getting upset over everything and like everything's happening to her and blah blah blah. And so then by the end it was kind of, this is where I feel like it ends up being the same as like every other story we've read similar to this, where it's, oh, it was actually all about perception and like I have a lot of good in my life. I'm just viewing it as negative all the time and only seeing the bad stuff, and I actually am super happy and all the things. So I mean,
Preach, girl.
that's, she was sad and she ain't. Same life.
This isn't. Yeah, I agree. I think her, like you were saying, perception changed. I wasn't thinking of that word. I was thinking attitude. Her attitude
I mean,
on things and
yeah.
her appreciation of what she has and the value of things that she was placing didn't necessarily matter. A value shift, perception shift. Agree. I think it was needed for her.
Yeah. Well, we already had touched on this, but what role does Mrs. Elm play in Nora's journey?
You're like her guide. I would say her guide. Kind of navigating her through things, like talking her through things. Some instances, like between lives, and kind of challenging her to like look at things differently. So I would say that, like her spiritual guide, spirit walking.
Yeah. I don't know if she really did a lot of, because she was really more like, you have to stick to the rules of the library, all the things. And then I did think that one part was really funny where she was like, I need to fight, we're in the library. And she's like, there's nobody else in here. It's like, it's still a library.
That's funny.
So that was funny, but I don't know. I think it was just like she was the one who was with her, and was it her dad died? I guess whatever the thing was. Whenever she was like little,
Probably her dad.
so then she was like, that was like her like safe adult
Mhm.
that was not like a parent or anything else. So I feel like that's why like she was there to be with her along this journey. She was cool. Which alternate version of Nora stood out to you the most and why?
Honestly, I really liked whenever she was the Polar Alaska girl. I don't remember where she was.
The one that you didn't want to be?
Yeah, the one. I like how she was on their way out. She didn't know what they were doing, but they were, I don't even know, Alaska, the North Pole. I don't even know where they were. But it was very, very cold, and there's polar bears, so that should narrow it down. They are. Oh, yeah, I think it was that. And she was a spotter for, like, the polar bears or something for the researchers, and she had, like, this rifle and was, like, looking and spotting them. And then she found one, and she's like, there, trying to, like, just warn them and then also distract the bear. And polar bears are apparently very mean. They're very cute. Yeah, I know. Coca-Cola is dirty.
It's
And
not friend shaped.
oh Lord! And then she was about to get attacked, and like I think the rules of the library is if you die in an alternate version, you die in real life.
Yeah, like if you die, you're still dead.
You're still dead.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she's like, you're gonna stay and deal with this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That one just stuck out to me the most because she's also like some scientist, and she couldn't like BS her way out of like
Yeah.
talk her way through the science part of it.
That's also where she found Hugo, which was the other, what are they called again? Slider, yeah, that's right. So he's the one who had the video store and he was like going through his alternate lives. I think my favorite was when she pursued music.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was like in a band with her brother and brother's friend or something, and then
Her
like,
brother, I thought it was her brother's boyfriend because her brother killed himself.
yeah, but I thought that, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, but because like early on before she went to the library, she was like really convinced that she had like let her brother down and like held him back from this like massive career and all this stuff, and they could have been like famous, but she just like couldn't take it, like doing the band thing. And so in the alternate universe where she ended up pursuing music, they got like crazy famous and all this stuff, but her brother got into like drugs and the bad side of fame and stuff like that, and ended up. I thought he overdosed.
Yeah, and that.
Okay. Well, okay. Anyway, so he. So that happened, and then so obviously she realized that like if she had gone down that path, like her brother would have ended up dead. But they have like this rift in her like actual timeline, and so she is like convinced that
She said
that no,
just kidding.
that she's convinced that like that's what would have saved their relationship if she had just like sucked it up and like done the music thing with him, and then it turns out like actually he would have died. I think that was my favorite one.
That was a good one. One that I also wanted to just touch on this. I also stuck out to me. I think it was more towards the end, whenever she's like talked about pursuing dating this one guy, and she woke up in bed next to her husband, and then like she went to go sneak out, and she like found a daughter. Like she had a daughter, but she didn't have any like emotional ties to the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really weird how she was like, I am her daughter. She sees me as her mother and all these things, but I don't have any kind of connection to her. But it was weird seeing like her family pictures, like growing up, and like her researching this life that she slid into.
Yeah.
And then trying to get some. I always thought that was like kind of weird. Is like you're living a life, but you don't have any context of the life that you're in.
Yeah. So that was like one of the things with like getting into the other lives was they were saying that like you would only stay if you like really wanted to, like deep down wanted to, not just like, oh yeah, like this seems like a good life or whatever. And I think, and that was the one where she was like convinced she thought she was like gonna stay there because she was like, this is literally everything I wanted, like all the things. And but then she just like kept having this kind of like nagging feeling like about the fact that she never felt like it was like fully hers, and so she like knew it was gonna happen eventually, and then that was kind of sad. But
Yeah, I thought it was like,
that was an interesting one. Yeah. She stayed there the longest out of like all of them.
yeah, and I don't know if this is one of the questions, but like the Slider guy, where he was like always searching for like, he didn't want to settle. He always wanted to experience the next thing.
Yeah,
And she was looking for something to settle. So I liked how they both had this opportunity, but took different takes on it.
yeah, because he was like, I'm just looking for the next adventure, and she was like, no, I'm looking for like legitimately a better life, or the perception of a better life.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why, 'cause I think he said that he had lived like 300 lives or
Yeah.
something crazy, and so the fact that she like ends up going back to her original timeline, it's like obviously you see the big difference in like what they were looking for
Yeah.
in this journey.
Anyway, the next one.
What does the book suggest about regret and what could have been?
I mean, we all have regrets, and we all could, you know, thinking of some of my things. But what could have been, you know, I don't know. I try not to linger in that. And what does the book suggest about it? I feel like it's just, you just need to accept it and move on.
Yeah.
I don't think living in regret is like the best mindset, because then you just
Yeah.
end up like Mora, just stressy, depressing.
I need some espresso. Yeah, I think really too, it's the big lesson of like, oh, the grass isn't always greener type thing. Like you think that this is a regret, but the ripple effect that it could have had on so many other things in your life, like you don't really know. So worrying about like the what ifs and oh, I wish I hadn't done that. Like you don't know that if you had done it, it could have ended the life of somebody like really close to you or something like that. So yeah, I think it's just again, perception. It's the word of the day apparently. Of what could have been isn't necessarily like what we think could have been isn't what would actually happen either. Like fixating on that, there's no point in it because you don't know where you would have ended up anyway, even if you hadn't made that one choice or had made the choice.
Yeah. How does the novel explore the idea of happiness versus fulfillment?
I think the big thing is she thought that all these things would bring her fulfillment and that would bring her happiness instead of being happy with contentment. Like, so she wasn't content with what she had, and if she was, she would have been happy all along. So that's where she ended up. And so she thought that she would be fulfilled if she was a rock star or a Arctic scientist or a mother or like
bigger, shinier versions of herself.
Exactly. And so, yeah. So I think happiness isn't always about fulfillment, but being more grateful about the moment and what you have.
Yeah. I also don't think people should, this sounds really, what is it, like a hot take or whatever, but I don't think people should try and like live a happy life. Like, I think you should just live your life and then enjoy the happy moments of it. Like, you're not going to be
happy 24/7.
You're not going to be happy. You're going to be happy for an hour, and then you're going to be sad for like 30 minutes, and then you're going to be,
Yeah.
like it is. But you're right. Like, ended up being happy and contentment instead of the living in the what ifs, and I should have done this, and shoulda, woulda, coulda.
I think also the fulfillment part of this question is also, I feel like fulfillment can so easily be manipulated by society because like we think that we can only be fulfilled if we have XYZ. And so like success and fulfillment I feel like looks different to each individual person because you may feel successful if you're a full-time mom and raise 3 kids and whatever, or somebody else may feel fulfilled and successful if they are a CEO, like whatever it is. And I think chasing fulfillment is a lot harder because, like I said, it can be really easy to fall into those, like, what society thinks that that looks like. And so then if you're tying your happiness to that also,
Yeah, I do think you did touch on a really good part, like about fulfillment being influenced by society. I know somebody that went to Europe for a month, and she's obviously American, and everybody over there is, European or something over there.
Yeah.
And anytime like Americans introduce you, like, oh, what's your name? What do you do? Blah blah blah. They don't care what you do.
Yeah.
They do not give a single shit. They're like, oh, how's your family? And how's your friends? They care about you as more of a person and not of like what people perceive as success.
Yeah.
So the way you said that was like, oh, interesting. But yes, just be happy.
just be happy. Do you think the book leans more toward hope or realism?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say realism because of how it turned out, but I think more towards the beginning, I think it was more hope. I think it shifted.
Yeah. I feel like it was showing you what it would be like for, like, hoping things would change, but ultimately was like the realism in the end because
Girl, get in touch with reality.
well, and yeah, in this magical library, but was more realistic of like, hey, you can actually be happy and you can have all the things that you wanted.
You just need to stop like looking for it somewhere else.
Yeah,
You can make yourself happy right now, actually.
be the CEO of your own life.
Exactly.
What does the library symbolize to you?
I guess just that the infiniteness of like all of our decisions and everything, and ultimately it doesn't matter. Obviously it matters, but not like it doesn't actually matter because what does matter? You can get no matter which timeline or which version of you if you choose it, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It symbolizes a library. I really like to read.
I thought it symbolized like a mind palace.
Interesting.
So, like, kind of the same thing of what you were saying, but just like categorizing it and just archiving the things, and then just full send of a certain scenario. But I don't know. I thought it was just a place to go to explore these other parts of yourself, I guess.
Did the structure of trying different lives work for you?
For her, I mean, I guess. I mean, it was the book. It's like the whole book. Did the episodic structure.
Okay, I mean, like, did you like it because... Okay, the question is actually... I'm trying to make it not as... Did the episodic structure of trying different lives work for you? So because she, like, went into these each individual lives for, like, this short period. Because I feel like in some stories we read similar to this, it's like they just have a completely different life and that's the whole thing. Instead of, like, trying all these, like, different ones.
I liked it because I felt like it captured my attention a lot more, and because, yeah, I don't know. It just worked for me because, I liked how she got to change specific things and kind of see how it played out, and I liked having her, I just liked it. I liked that versus her going through one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, like, to start out in the beginning, she, like, the very first one, I think she ended up with the guy that she broke up with, and she basically thought, like, that's where things, like, went downhill.
Her college guy?
Yeah. And so I think, like, realizing, like, that was actually not maybe the best thing, and then getting to see, like, oh, okay, well, actually, maybe it was this decision that I made. And then it's like, okay, well, not that. So then maybe it was this decision that I made.
Yeah, I think, like, a lot of it was her trying to figure out where in her life she went wrong.
Yeah.
Girl, same.
Yeah.
But
I liked that too. Yeah, I think the attention to it because then there was like all these different aspects going on.
mm-hmm.
But
yep. Were there any lives you wish Nora explored longer?
I don't think so. I feel like all of them like went to the point of what she thought it would change. It was like the same thing, different font.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. I feel like I said, it kind of got to the point of like, oh, I think this would make my life better. Oh, wait, then this happens. Well, maybe not.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need more.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Did the rules of the Midnight Library make sense to you?
Yeah. I mean, I, like you were saying, I liked how Mrs. What was her name? Mrs. Norris?
Mrs. Elm. Mrs. Norris is a cat name.
Oh, my bad. Whoops. You're right, it is the cat.
I don't know.
I feel like everything needs structure, and I liked the librarian.
Yeah.
Mrs. Plus she's like a librarian, they're pretty strict and stuff, so.
Yeah.
It's just, I
Follow
feel
the
like
rules.
I give it structure, because this is like
Rules
a
help
big old,
control the fun.
Exactly.
because this is already kind of like a big explorative, premise of the books. I
Yeah.
feel like putting some structure into it.
I agree. And I think, too, like, for me, the big one was, like I had touched on earlier, that the fact that you would only stay in that life if, like, that was truly what you wanted.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it would have been really easy for her to see a situation and, like, convince herself that, like, okay, yeah, this is better than my other life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because, I mean, what if she had, with the one specifically where she became like a rock star or whatever, she was like, she really liked that life initially until she found out about her brother. So, like, what if she was like, oh, yeah, this is for me. Like, I knew that this was, like, the right choice or whatever. And you know what I mean?
like
And,
she made her decision before.
yeah, but because it wasn't, like, actually up to, like, her conscious self deciding, I
Yeah.
liked that rule that it was, like, it would only be if, like, this is truly, truly what you wanted. And
Yeah.
so, yeah. Which taught her the ultimate lesson. But
The ultimate lesson. How responsibly do you think the book handles depression and suicidal ideal?
you know, I think it was fine. I don't think it was. I have seen it written better, like these kind of topics for sure, but I don't think she necessarily did it badly or in a way to, like, not discredit, but, like, I don't think she took away from that. Or I guess it's bad.
I was like,
I was thinking she because of Nora.
oh yeah, so,
That's why you said Norris. I bet you.
oh Nora.
Yeah, because her name is Nora. I bet that's why you said Mrs.
Anyway, I feel like the author, I've seen it explained better and felt better about writing those kinds of topics, but I also don't feel like he did it in a bad way or made light of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, it
Yeah.
was still serious, but I've seen it really written more to, like, what I've experienced in life, seeing people exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it went with the story. I don't think it was a really big, profound part of the story. I think that she was depressed because of she was living in regret and living in, oh, well, it would have been better if, I should have done this. I wouldn't be feeling this way, which led to to her thoughts in that. But I think it was more in line with the story versus like a profound,
Like, this,
yeah,
because the book wasn't
bringing like
about like that completely. And obviously it played a role because that's why she was, like, unhappy. Like, her depression, she was feeling unhappy with her life, but it wasn't like that was the main context
this is
of
the core
yeah.
premise of the book.
That's true.
I think it just led it into
where it was
her
going.
story.
Yeah.
I think it was just a journey to that.
Yeah. Did any moments or quotes resonate personally with you?
I touched on this earlier, but I thought it was really interesting how she slid in and out of her own versions of herself. And towards the end, she was starting to feel like it wasn't even her life. She was like with the child and like her husband and seeing all these happy memories and stuff. Like it's obviously her, but
Yeah.
she doesn't feel that it is.
These
Like,
are the things that
impossible.
these are the things I wanted, but like I didn't actually make these choices. Yeah.
It was weird because she was like an imposter of her own life.
I honestly, a big one for me was like more towards the end when she was in that life with the daughter, but she like went back to the area where she lived in her like
Like
natural time. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, so she was like doing that with the husband and the daughter and whatever, but then she went back to like where her apartment or whatever. And then so she saw like her neighbor and then the little boy who she did the music lessons for, and then like he was like in trouble with the law and like all that stuff.
Oh.
And so I think her seeing the effect that she actually had on other people, because she was like it was so, because her teaching that and stuff was a part that she didn't love. She didn't like that she worked at that like music store, and then she was like, I'm doing this like side thing, and like basically like everything is awful. And then she realized like the effect that it had on like this single mom trying to raise this young boy, and then like if she hadn't been there to like help him pursue music, then like he would have gone down a bad path, and like he had already been like in trouble with the law multiple times and stuff.
Mhm.
So the impact that she didn't even realize that she had on other people's lives, I think that was the part that stuck with me the most.
Do you think the message of the book is universal or very specific to Nora?
For sure, universal.
Oh yeah.
I think we all at some point think like, oh, I should have done that, or like if I had only
Immediately after.
immediate regret. But I think especially like big things. Now we might not all be like depressed like she was in the beginning or anything, but there may be times where we're like, oh, I wish I had
Stayed in
this
school.
Yeah,
I wish I didn't take out that credit card.
I wish I had kids earlier. I wish I had kids later.
Yeah.
I wish all these things. So I think we all can like relate to that feeling of if we had or hadn't done this thing, like what would that change? Just be happy, like Miranda said. Just be happy.
Just be happy.
Choose it.
That makes me think of like, I was on the phone with you one morning.
Surprise.
Surprise. And I was getting in my car and I put stuff in my car. I was like, gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, why is it so dirty in here? This is the worst. I was like, this is not how I wanted to start my day, my car being dirty. And I was like, stop. It's not that bad. I'm literally going to clean my car.
It was like, I take it back.
I take it back immediately. I take it back. It's fine. It's not a bad life. It's a bad moment.
Yeah.
It was that way.
It can be really easy to let the little things get to you, but not letting things like that ruin your day and then ruin your week and your month, and like it builds up.
Yeah, I don't. It's just so funny because it was just so like an immediate reaction. And I was already planning on cleaning the car that morning.
Yeah, but you were like letting yourself get upset about it.
Yeah.
It's something you were gonna fix. Like, what a problem to have with your cars.
Honestly. But yeah, so just being content.
Exactly. Was it me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
You pulled a me. 17. What? Give me an example.
Just like it was, like how it was just written through the eyes of Nora. Like, just simple.
I mean, you get a. I don't even know. I didn't really have an emotional impact of the book. I feel like it really helped with the perception of things and like being content in like what you have. And I think going through Nora's journey and how she is experiencing versions of her own life and the ripple effect of how, like you're saying, cause and effect with other people in her life. And I think it helps with being focused on one character versus, a multitude. And like this type of writing or this type of story does help that, because otherwise you'd be jumping from like one person's all of their regrets and another person's all of their regrets and whatever. So I think in this book specifically, I think it really did help the story.
Yeah. And again, I think it really affected the perception because if you're bringing in all these other things, you're going to get a much different perception as like singular, just her life, just her viewpoint. Having all like anything more than that would, I think, take away from like the message of the book.
Did these short chapters enhance or limit your connection to the story?
I don't really think it affected it, honestly.
I really only have a hard time with this whenever chapters are like crazy, crazy long. And that's only because like if I need to stop or something, I struggle with stopping in the middle of chapters. And so if we've got like 25-page chapters, it makes it a little bit, it drags on a little bit for me for some reason. But I didn't feel like they were super short or anything like that.
I think the chapters stopped at like a good point. Like, I don't think the chapters felt rushed or felt dragged on. I felt like the chapter got to the point and to the story of that specific part. So, I mean, I don't know. I agree. I don't like when chapters are only like 2 or 3 pages. So
I mean, yeah.
I also don't. I was like, what's the point of the freaking chapter?
Yeah.
Or I also don't like it whenever they're like 20, 30 pages long, because then you're just like, oh.
Okay, let's take a break for a second. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So I think, like in this book specifically, I think it got to the point and it like wrapped up that part of the book. And it wasn't rushed.
The fact that I didn't think about it tells me like it was a good pacing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would have been like, oh, why are these like so short or why are this so long? Things like that. And that would have taken me out of the actual story. So since I did not think about it until we literally asked this question, I'm gonna say it was good.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Did the ending feel hopeful, satisfying, or ambiguous?
Between those 2 choices, it's satisfying. I don't even know. Maybe hopeful. I guess it would be bad if I didn't say hopeful. I thought it was a good conclusion to the story. I think she realized what was important in her life and, her change in attitude and perspective and actually appreciating the people around her and appreciating her value in other people's lives really, really fit well with the story. I thought the ending was the best outcome of the book. That could have,
Yeah, I feel it was a bit predictable. Well, I mean, I know.
What you gonna go do? Live a rockstar life?
Yeah, I really want one of these stories to just be like for somebody to choose the. Obviously, she didn't have a choice, really, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Or be like that one guy. Imagine reading his book. That one guy that's like going through 300 lives in like a year. It'd be like whiplash.
But yeah, I mean, it came to the conclusion that it was supposed to. So in that way, it was like satisfying. I don't know. It was just predictable, I guess. Yeah.
Well, fit the book.
Yeah.
Would you recommend this book to someone going through a difficult time?
I don't necessarily think. I don't think I would recommend any book to somebody going through a difficult time. I don't feel like I am equipped to do that.
Jeez. That's horrible.
No, but I'm just saying, like, okay, listen. Let me explain.
Going through a hard time. Can you help me? No.
It's not like that.
I know.
It's more like I don't want to like push what I think on somebody else.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I think I have a lot of opinions about books that aren't necessarily how other people think or anything like that. So I don't know. I just don't think that there's any scenario where I'd be like, oh, you should really read this book because you're obviously depressed. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay, there are instances where, like, if somebody was talking to me about habits or something, like wanting to do goals or something, okay, yeah, I would probably be like, hey, have you read Atomic Habits? Like,
Yeah.
that, you know what I mean? Seeing somebody as depressed, or even if they're telling me they're depressed, I'm not going to be like, oh, hey, you should read this book so that way you can get a better attitude about your life, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just don't feel like I am
qualified. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
better.
Yes, I hear what you're saying. I don't think I would recommend this book to a regular person just wanting to read another book, and I don't think I would recommend this book to somebody that's having a difficult time. And a difficult time specifically depression and like suicidal.
Yeah.
I don't think this is the book for that. I think a therapist.
I mean, okay, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to give you what I think would be the answer.
No, someone would need to find their own journey to navigate that. What is one takeaway or question you're still thinking about after finishing the book?
I don't know. I don't think anything was like really profound or like lasting. Again, I'm not trying to shit on the book, okay? But it's the same story, different font. Like I get it. It's not. I like the concept of the library thing and all that, but I don't think that there was anything where I'm specifically thinking about this book. Like the message as a whole, yes, like that is something to be thought about, but I'm not like, oh man, that one really stuck with me over the 20 others that I've read or seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I don't really feel like there's anything specific to this one other than the fact that the library thing. So I guess that. The library and the blockbuster.
Yeah, I don't have anything from the book.
You should definitely read it.
Yeah, I mean, there were moments in the book that I really enjoyed, like the polar bear
Yeah.
trying to attack her and like fighting, like different versions of like these sliders, where she's trying to find something
Yeah.
to like settle down in, to like find a better life, singular life for herself versus the guy that's
For sure.
just living, the
Yeah.
rock star life.
And that's what I'm saying is,
Like there are elements that I liked, but the overall concept of the story has been drawn out and it's been done. And I was hoping that it would be a different take, a more memorable take on this. I think they tried to make it profound, and I think I've read other things like this that was done better. And
yeah. I get it. Because, again, the overall message is profound. It is
Yeah.
the thing. And that's what I was kind of trying to say, too. Like, it's not that I think that it was a bad take on it. It's just, like, there are books that we both have where there is a quote or a specific scene that we still think about right now. And I just don't think that I have that with this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think in a couple months I'm going to be like,
I remember that book was
Yeah.
so good. Nice.
or specifically thinking about that line or that moment.
Yeah. So, with that, would you recommend this book to others? I think we read.
I mean,
It wasn't specific.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a different version of the same question.
because obviously not to somebody who's depressed. I don't think that I would recommend it to anybody, but I think that if somebody was like, "Oh, I want to read it," I wouldn't. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to recommend it, but I also don't think it's a bad read. Like, if somebody was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I was wanting to read this," I'd be like, "Yeah, like it's."
I think it's a cozy read. Yeah. I
So
think it's a palate cleanser, cozy read.
but it's not something that if somebody came to me and they were like, "Oh, what's a book like you think I should
Yeah,
read
give
next?"
me a book
This is not
Yeah.
one that I think would come to mind.
I agree. I agree with that too. Oh.
Yeah.
Writing style.
It's fine. I think we kind of touched on this too. It fit with the type of story it was.
Yeah.
It was fine.
It wasn't bad, it wasn't good. It was average.
Yeah.
Story engagement.
I do feel like this was a little higher for me because of the different lives. So it's like reading all these mini stories.
Yeah.
So I feel like the engagement was pretty good.
I agree. I liked that, we got to go through the different kinds of lives. And her take on those lives.
Yeah.
I agree. And story engagement was good. Overall rating.
Give it a 3.
3.
This is a very
Like a hard 3.
yeah. Like it's just I don't think this is a book that I'm gonna be like, oh, I remember it. But also like a 2, I would remember because I didn't like it. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying though. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a mediocre read for me. It wasn't horrible, it wasn't really great. It was what it was, and that's it. And I read it, and in a year from now, somebody's gonna be like, "Did you read this?" Or I'm gonna say, "Yeah," and then I'm gonna say, "I don't remember it." I will remember it, but you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be like
Yeah.
something I remember for being super great or super bad. So
Average.
very average.
I gave it a 3.25. And I don't know. I don't know. I liked that I think what gave it more of a 2.5, a 0.25 was like the little mini stories and her being able to choose like what it was. So I think that's what it gave.
Quarter of a point.
A quarter of a point too. But yeah, I am. If you ask me what happened in this book 2 years from now, good luck.
I think we'll remember the overall
Yeah, the
premise, but
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was great. It was good. It was alright. Average.
Yeah.
Moving on. That's it for today's episode. Next week, we're kicking off Popular Reads Week with The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. A twisty, unhinged ride. A twisty, unhinged ride full of secrets, bad decisions, and characters you absolutely would not trust with a spare key. Make sure you're caught up because spoilers will be flying. We'll see you next week.